Bum, bum.
Checkity check, checkity check. Ooh, and we're good.
It's working.
Very nice. How's it going?
Hello.
Welcome in. We look much fucking better.
Yeah, that's true.
It's nuts.
David is using the iPhone camera instead of our webcam.
Yeah, instead of the $50 webcam I purchased in college.
Which, you know, it's crazy. There's been no upgrades to that camera because we were thinking about.
Yeah, because we thought it was broken for a while.
Yeah, and we were going to get a new one, and they're exactly the same.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, this camera is actually pretty. It's the Logitech C, like 590 or whatever it is, 920, C920, whatever it is, and it's like the best camera outside of the really high-end webcams. Yeah. But I mean, man, this looks so much better. We have color in our face.
That's true.
Normally, we are just ghosts.
We blend in with the background.
Yep.
With the faux wall.
Normally, we look like the second moon.
Hi, Dreamwalker.
Hello.
Alrighty.
All right, today we're talking about why we're so goddamn fucking offensive.
But I only have like an hour.
Yeah, we got a hard stop.
FYI.
We got a hard stop.
Because I'm part of the HOA.
Very true.
The
very
most
true.
Spiritual thing you can do. So that's I have a meeting. I have a meeting.
Very, very true.
So yeah,
I've been wanting to talk about this for a while.
You have?
For a while. Actually, well, it's just been bopping around in my head. And I think it's been bopping around in my head more for me than for anyone else. And I'm actually a little hesitant.
What do you mean for anyone else? Who are the other ones? What do you mean?
Like for stream. For live. For our audience.
Oh.
Like I think it might be even still more for me personally,
I
these
see.
Thoughts.
Yeah, let's hear them.
To get out there, but I still want to talk about it.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because there's so much. There's so much I want to talk about.
Yeah, that's crazy. I have like nothing.
Yeah, I have so many things.
Wow, and I'm the offensive one.
Yeah. Well, that's probably why I have things to talk about. Because this is just normal for you.
That's true. I know.
You're like, why am I so offensive? I
don't know.
I am just myself.
Just
I don't know what you're talking about.
Miriam.
Well, okay, because when I think back, I was very PC. I could have been a Disney Channel star. I used to get that comment more than you would think.
That's so cringy.
I know. Like when I was like, how old was I? Mom died, went on a road trip. I was probably 18. Mm-hmm. I got that comment probably 5 times in the span of 3 months.
Wow.
Like often.
Yeah.
Because I would play guitar and I would sing and I had like swoopy hair. I just looked like a Disney Channel kid. Like I had my own show where I was like, bazinga! You know, like, hey kids! So, but I carried that energy with me into adulthood. And when we started the second paradigm and when we started talking about all these things, I think I appealed to too many people. It was actually very obvious to me that I appealed to too many people. Too many people liked me that shouldn't have resonated with my work. Like too many people were around me that probably shouldn't have been around me that liked me. Like at some point I realized that. And when we started doing this work about, becoming more of yourself, we hit 2020 and we got real offensive real quick. Guided.
Yeah,
like we got guided
to be. It was
so
minor.
It was minor. Compared to how we are now, it was very minor. But it was like, we might not vote Democrat this year. And everyone's like, what? I hate you. What happened to you?
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is wild.
Why aren't you wearing a mask?
Yeah, this is so wild. I got so many, I just don't understand. Can you help explain to me what happened to you? I got lots of those.
Yeah, you did
and it's because like, I think I've appealed to many, many people over the years because I was always just friendly and very smiley and interested in everyone. And I had no opinions at all. There's none. And when I started to build my own identity, I started to realize, I actually do have opinions. I think things about things. And there was a distinct shift in my mind. And I remember I bookmarked it in my brain. We went into Barnes & Noble and I was walking around and I was like, I hate this book. And I was like, I've never had that thought ever. I was like, that is the first time I've had that thought. I was like, I hate it. I was like, wow, I dislike everything about this book. And like me,
because what was the old iteration?
Yeah, me 6 months before that would have been like, I don't know if
Hi,
this
Ben.
is quite for me.
Sorry.
But I can see the value in it. That would have been kind of my perspective. I can see the
Right.
value in it. Or maybe I should have a beginner's mind. Why does this offend me? Does this book offend me because I have something that I get to work through personally on how to greater accept authors and perspectives like this? That was the old me. And that's why so many people liked me. I had a massive fucking network. Massive. Certainly for a 20-year-old kid. But slowly, I mean, it happened actually pretty quickly, really. This was over the period of like a couple of years. But slowly, I started to build a perspective, and I started to understand more of who I was and our material, my channel, and I feel God wanted me to be more offensive. Because we clashed on that at the beginning, because I very much was like, you don't understand. If we curse, we appeal to less people. I very much had that perspective of comments that we get often, by the way. Often. That was my perspective. And when I would check in about it and I would pray about it, that's the, I guess, Christian version of how I think. When I would get really quiet and check in about it, I felt nothing wrong with how you were. Like it wasn't.
Yeah, but you didn't come across that way. You
I
definitely
know.
had a carrot up your butt.
Yeah. Oh, certainly. I was uncomfortable with it.
Yeah, and
I was
it
uncomfortable
sucked
with it
to swear around you, because at least publicly online
because I was so uncomfortable.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Because I was at an ideological crossroads.
I was like, you don't like when I swear, and you were like, no, I mean, you got to be yourself, my love. Like,
but that was the real. I
was like,
truth.
well, why doesn't it feel like it
And
when I
for a
sit
long
next
time,
to you?
I know, because for a long time, all of your perspectives and your crudeness would bother me biologically. I would shut down, but I knew. I was like, you have to do this. And you'd be like, I feel like I'm not quite accepted here. I was like, no. I get what's happening here, but I need more of you. And that was always the thing. I was like, no. Like,
I know.
Like ratchet it up a little bit. Like, I know I'm probably going to get even more uncomfortable. I was like, no. I want even more, please. More, please. More, like, more swearing, more controversial opinions. Like, yeah, I don't even remember what you were talking about back then.
Oh, I talked about climate change.
Oh, yeah. When you said that you think dinosaurs might not be real or like climate, I was like, I'm going to die. I'm so uncomfortable.
But I didn't even know anything about like I am now.
Yeah, I know.
Like now I've gone down. I'm like, oh, yeah, that checks out. And even I was like, if we ever have children, I was like, we're not doing vaccines. Like, fuck off with that shit.
Yeah. And I was like, what about polio?
We have to do the polio. It's like, what? No. And this is like pre 2020, pre being an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah.
Hi, Emily.
Hi, Ben. Hi, Emily.
Yeah.
Ben, you were Ben Weston now. Good to see.
Oh.
Good to see. I
yeah,
like
but he's
it.
BW over there.
Oh, that's true.
W.
Oh, you're Ben Weston.
BW.
Okay, but so for a long time, right, I was puckered up, had a carrot up my butt, and I felt, I don't know that I felt morally superior for not cursing. I felt like it was the right thing to do. Like I felt like it was what I needed to do to appeal to an audience and to grow our business. Do you know what I mean? Like I felt like our business would suffer.
Just having a little inside joke with the audience.
Yeah, okay. And about how I was morally superior. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I got it. I got the joke. I don't think it was.
I didn't think you saw.
Yeah,
you
I
saw
felt
us.
it. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm very psychic, and I feel everything that happens within a 10 square mile radius of me. So yeah, okay. So I was very uncomfortable, and I had my opinions about it. But I did have that deep understanding or that deep knowing of like, no, I need more of you. I need even more of you in the second paradigm. I didn't even really know what that meant at the time, but I was like, no, like,
yeah, you always said that.
Even more of this, and I want even more of your expression. And I watched you go from one of the meekest people I know, truthfully, to one of the most opinionated people on the planet. Like you're willing to just like shoot it straight, no matter
spirituality
what.
fucked me up
because
I was always opinionated pre-spirituality, and then spirituality made me like retarded. Like it made me malleable, and you have to like think like, oh, like at the bookstore, it's like, oh, you know what, this book, it might be good for someone though.
Yes,
like
this crazy. What a crazy
but like
idea.
Pre that, I'd be like, ew, I don't like any of these books. Like what? And now post spirituality, because I would say I'm a spiritual atheist at this point. I feel like I resonate more on that side of things. Yeah. I don't like any of the books. Yeah. I'm with you there.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all bad. Not good. First off, they're not even their ideas. I didn't know that at the time. I didn't realize that they were just regurgitating a bunch of stuff that they've read elsewhere and then calling themselves an expert. I didn't really understand that to the degree I do now. But it's also just not good advice in the first place. Like, it's weird to regurgitate something that isn't good at all. Right? So, okay, so now we're very offensive. And I think to the law of one people, right, obviously, we are unbelievably offensive. They're like, how can you call Jim a cuck? The one surviving member of this dream team that dedicated their whole life to light.
I love that joke. That is my favorite joke.
We're like, because the work sucks and it's dark as fuck and so many people believe it and it's stupid. And if you believe it, you're either stupid or you were so emotionally manipulated you were being duped. And if you're just emotionally manipulated and being duped, but there's actually a soul in there that is light and is here to do things, like hopefully if we call this out, it'll get in there and it'll plant a seed of doubt. And maybe 5 years down the line, you'll be like, oh man, this does suck.
I always say that. I'm like, you're going to think of me when we're in fucking FEMA. And what are you? But you got your fucking red light mask on and like in your cot. Like in your fucking TRS spray.
Yeah, is Raw going to help you then? They're going to build
I go on other
build a pyramid for you to keep your frequency high.
I know. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
But
anyway,
here's the point.
What else is
I feel like as though we have both been guided to become more crude over time. And when I zoom out and I look at that, I feel like that's very purposeful.
Oh, yeah.
Now I understand, hindsight 2020, I understand that the more crude we got, the more we offended only the wrong people.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's actually miraculous.
I know, because I love the people that have stuck around that aren't offended by...
Oh my God, I love it. Yeah. And even the people that are offended that still felt like there was a thread of truth who stuck around, I like that even more. Yeah. That's even fucking cooler. But we offended all the right people. I know.
We offended him with flat Earth.
We offended Emil harder than we've ever offended anybody. And he was like, but I'm still here because I love this work.
But fuck you guys.
Fuck you guys and your stupid conspiracy theorists, but I love this work. Damn it. Why can't you just be normal, compassionate people? But now I look around at people that are building audiences and have a sizable audience who are filtering themselves. And if I could sit down with them and have a real conversation like about business,
I wouldn't go.
That's fine. But if
I'd be sick.
If it was like, okay, COVID. Everything I'm about to say is going to get through to them, and we're going to have a real like actual open conversation about business, right? The advice that I would give is you need to offend like 75% of your audience. That's why you're fucking miserable in your business.
Yeah.
Because 75% of the people that are around are there for the character that you're playing to appeal to more people.
Yep.
If you stop doing that, only people that actually liked who you were and what you were doing would stick around.
Yep, 100%.
And your business would be so much better.
Yep.
So much more comfortable. And you would see where you're actually at.
Yep.
And I think that's actually the hardest thing for an entrepreneurial person is to see where their business actually is when they stop playing all the games. Because lots of people's businesses are, I have the actual growth of my business and there's people around who I really enjoy working with and who are actually growing from the work that I'm doing. And then there's everybody else who I manipulated into my orbit and they suck. But I appeal to them anyway and I make some money from that.
And why would you want to build a business on people you've manipulated? I would never want to be around people that are manipulatable. That fucking is crazy.
I know. And I think, so that would be my advice to most people in personal development, self-help, even like the truthers who are fucking selling their product, whatever. I'd be like, offend more people. And if you were the kind of person that's cursing behind the scenes and you're not cursing publicly, start fucking cursing. Like this is a stupid line to draw in the sand because the only people you offend are people who don't actually like you.
Right.
The only people you offend are people who aren't actually meant to be there in the first place. Exactly. And when you get to see that actual resonance, it's really, really cool. And when you get to actually be who you are, it's so much easier. And I recognize, so I think generally that's true, but for us, I think it's even truer because we're speaking to a population that their core tenet in life is, I need to solve this existential crisis inside of my being, and it's more important than anything else ever. And to those people, they don't really care about anything else. They really don't. And when we shit on everything, they're relieved because that's how they feel about everything.
I know.
They feel that way about everything. And when I'm really honest with myself, I hate every element of everything. Like I really don't like most things. The world, the structures of the world, the systems of the world, politics, both sides, food, health, every influencer. Like I really don't like basically everything. And that's actually hard for me to fully admit how little I like anything. But that's the actual reality because what I'm feeling inside myself, this deep core of truth, when I check in about like what would the world ideally be, or what would this personal development industry ideally be, or what would education ideally be, or health ideally be, it is the exact opposite of what's happening right now. And the idea that I'm like, well, it's okay because it's progress. I'm like, no. How do I know? I'm one fucking person. How do I know deep down that everything is wrong and everyone else is ignoring it? Most of our people feel that way.
Yeah.
And I think for us, even more than the average entrepreneur, we have to be so fucking offensive to get all the wrong people out. I know, and you do great at it. You do great at it. But I've come a long way too, and I would like to be celebrated.
Yes.
I've come
you've come such a long way.
I've come a long way.
You know, I would get insecure and be like, "Am I a bad influence?"
Yes. But it's in the right direction.
A new direction.
Yeah, it's in my new direction.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I know. Because, I think about it, and, you know, the algorithm's been feeding me Christians on YouTube that are talking about how you shouldn't swear, and it's putting curses and all this stuff. And it got in my head a little bit. I was like, is that something?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm like, should I double check this?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just when those comments are funny to me because it's like, okay, we've been in spiritual education for like about 10 years. Not quite, but about. It's wild to think that we've never thought about that. You know what I mean? That we're cursing because we've never once thought about cursing. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, we have a stance on it. Mm-hmm. It's one of the most common spiritual ideas.
Yeah, I know.
It's like the first thing you do as a spiritual person is you stop cursing because it's low vibrational. It's one of the first things about spirituality where you clean yourself up.
And something is
even more
spells.
Spiritual.
What is it? Spells? I don't know. I forget. Spelling is spells, or I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know what the thing is.
Yes, it's all spells and curses and magic, and your words are powerful, and it's all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. So of course we've thought about it. Mm-hmm. Of course. That's the point I wanted to get across, and that's the thing that I've been sitting with more and more is like, of course we've thought about it, and I don't know that we've really talked about it that much. Why we are so offensive? Like it's at this point we were guided to it, but at this point it's a strategic decision. That's how I have it slotted. I understand why we were guided in this direction, and now it's a strategic decision. I need to curse multiple times every single stream, or like.
It repels the
retarded people who are not designed for this work. Their makeup is not in a place where this work is helpful at all. Right. And if they are around in our work, everyone will suffer.
Yeah, and everyone knows it. And then they become the fucking idiot and we talk shit about them. Because everyone knows, because you're just like, ooh, I don't really like so-and-so. It ends up coming out in the end.
Yeah, it is so uncomfortable to have the wrong people in a group. Mm-hmm. And we've cultivated
because we're all intuitive as fuck.
Real fucking nice group.
Yeah.
Real fucking nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
It's nice.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I feel that way. I can't say I felt that way in years past, especially in 2020.
Mm-mm. Yeah. 2019, things were still murky. At the very beginning, things were the murkiest. At the very beginning, I had my big network. Mm-hmm. And everyone was curious about this new channeling thing, and that was the murkiest our work ever was.
Love David. Yeah. And then I hated it. I fucking hated it. We do like live channelings, and then all these people would be like, so when are the 10 days of darkness? Because David Wilcox said that. And like, how do I talk to the dolphins in the ocean? And I'm like, oh my God. And then David's eyes were closed because he's channeling. And then I'm sitting there reading these stupid questions, trying not to like breathe fire on all of our camera equipment.
Yeah. So we have a great question here.
So up next. Oh, I hated it. I hated it so much. But I fucking played pretend.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about the law of attraction? What is it? Lots and lots.
I was like, what's going on for you in your personal life? Like, use this time wisely. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. Why aren't you asking anything real? This is so stupid. What a waste. What an absolute fucking waste.
Yeah.
And none of those people are around. No. All those fucking stupid tiddly twat questions are just gone.
So refreshing.
Yes. You guys remember. The OGs remember. And we'd all be like, because I knew, and I'd get like a side DM or text message that was like, eye roll emoji. I'm like, dude, I know.
Yeah.
True story.
That's why we're so offensive. And I think we take a lot of stances. This is the other piece. I think we take a lot of stances because they are offensive, and we're willing to push people away ideologically because we know they're the wrong people.
I prefer it.
And I think if you were to sit down with us and have a real conversation about like, what do you think about racism? What do you think about like the ideal direction for like wealth inequality? What do you think about abortion? What do you think about, if we were to get into, I know who cares, but if we were to get into those actual conversations with people, our actual stances are at a degree of nuance.
I was going to say that. Yes.
We're very, very deeply nuanced in most of our political understanding and in most of our stances about the world. Things like transgenderism and like gay people and religion and spirituality and how that intermingles. Like, we have a very nuanced perspective, and in person with everyone of every type of person, black, white, gay as fuck, doesn't matter. We're unbelievably kind and treat them like just people.
Yeah.
And people whose ideologies are fundamentally different than us, we're honestly fascinated with their ideology and want to understand it even more, and we treat them with a degree of respect always. That's our baseline of how we actually are. Online, we're like, fuck the trannies, we hate this movement, this sucks dick, the gays are taking over, we don't say that, but I think it feels like that to people.
Yeah,
it feels like we're racist and transphobic and all. We're not. Yeah. But these movements are taking people for an ideological ride. And
I know.
That's the thing that bothers us the most, is watching people parrot these ideas and these thoughts that are not their own.
I know. It's wild.
They are being positioned, used as puppets. And I think about this actually fairly frequently. If we were to have a transgender child, I'd love the shit out of them. And I would foster the shit out of them, and I would want them to be whoever the fuck they are. I would highly recommend against getting the surgeries or taking the hormones. But if they decided that on their own and they were old enough, I wouldn't sign off on it if they were a minor. But if they were doing their own thing, I'd be like, listen, like, I'm going to support you no matter what.
Right.
You know how I feel about this. I only ask that you look at people who have detransitioned, and if you look at these people and you go, I can tell that I'm different than them. And if you look at all the hormones and you recognize that you're probably fucking up your health into the future, and you're making this as a decision, once you do it, I'm going to back you, and I'm probably never going to talk about it again. And if anything bad happens to you, I'm going to be fucking right there, and I'm going to take care of you.
Yeah.
Like, that's how my actual stance. But ideologically, I hate the fucking movement. I hate it. I hate the ideology. I don't hate people.
Right.
I really don't.
I know.
And most people, I don't quite pity them, but it's close, honestly. There's like a fuck, what happened to you?
Oh, that's how I felt about the kids last night at the grocery store.
Yeah.
We had like the cashier and the bagger were both
very slow,
very mentally challenged.
Yeah, trying to talk.
In the 90s, we would have called them retarded.
Yes.
It was definitely.
And in 2024, we would still call them retarded. But
yeah,
right in the middle, we wouldn't call them that.
Right in the middle.
between the 90s and 20s. It's coming back. In 2000, we would have called them mentally challenged.
Not saying, yes, that's true. Not saying it as like, it's just like the truth. Like it was like, it was painful. Tough. And that you could see, it was crazy. The cashier, he was more challenged than the bagger.
Yes.
And we go to a place that still has Market Basket, that still has cashiers and baggers. They don't have self-scan.
Yeah.
They're like, it's like a time warp. Like you're going back to the 70s when you go grocery shopping. Market Basket, when you go shopping in there. And so the bagger was more like able to talk and communicate, and like he had recently shaved and like missed a bunch of spots on his face, and so did the cashier. And the cashier had more soul in him, and man, he was fucking trying to talk to us.
Oh, so bad.
And it was like it was so painful.
It was one of the most uncomfortable moments I've had.
And like his speech was really slurred and slow, and like I know this is rude, but my thought was, oh my god, I feel like I'm in idiocracy. Like I'm like, what the fuck? Like it felt like so wrong in so many ways. And like I had such a soft spot for the cashier kid, because I could see the light in his eyes, and it felt like there was a trapped soul in there that like just couldn't get it out. And he was trying to connect, so he blurted out something about like it being dark outside, and I was like, oh yeah, it's getting darker early. And then he talked about daylight savings time, how it was on November 3rd, or I don't know what he said the date, and I was like, oh, I said we're still doing that. And then he's like, yeah, but I kind of confused him because it like didn't register, so there was nowhere for those words to register in that context, I don't think.
Yeah. But yeah, he would be sitting there like,
I know. Well, he was standing, but yeah.
Sorry, standing.
They sit at Aldi.
And you would feel the thought.
I know.
And it would just sit, and it would build and build and build and get more and more uncomfortable, and he'd wait for his moment, but it would never arrive.
Yep.
And then the conversation would be in a completely different place.
I know.
We were talking about like a farm, like the
bagger's kid,
local farm and his family.
Yes.
We were talking about that, and then he goes, can you believe how dark it is outside? And it was like he had that thought for like 45 seconds.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's that, but I feel that way about most people, unfortunately. I feel that way about a lot of people, is that there's a soul trapped inside. When, what's his name? Matt Roski. We call him Lost Toss because my last name is Toss.
Yeah.
So he lost his toss.
Yeah.
It was a Matt Lost Toss. He posted a thing on Twitter about people being NPCs. And he was, he talks slowly and kind of like dramatically, what if people that you're seeing that don't have the light in their eyes.
He does kind of talk.
What if they
like
are
NPCs?
Have you ever thought about that? Non-playable characters. Yeah. So anyway, he's doing that thing. I didn't even watch the video because that's uncomfortable. That's as uncomfortable to me as
the kids.
It's dark outside, huh? It's a very similar discomfort where I'm like, fuck, just talk normally.
I know.
Talk normally, please. Stop doing the expert thing.
I know.
It's not profound.
The cashier kid too, he just like blurted out. He's like, I'm out at 8.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, is that when you guys
Wow, good.
Like, is that when you guys close? He's like, no, 9. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes.
And then the other kid was like, 9, 8 on Sundays. I don't know. It was a cluster. Uncomfortable.
But anyway, so Matt Rostos was talking about Roski. Roski was talking about NPCs, and I commented underneath and I said, no. I think it's much more tragic than this. I think there are real souls stuck in there, and they are so emotionally manipulated that they are operating in that manner. Like it's something like that. But it's like they're so emotionally manipulated that they are in this, like they're stuck. They're stuck inside of it. It's a prison of biology. Yeah.
Yep, I know. Well, that's exactly how I felt about those two kids.
Yes.
More so with the cashier kid.
Yes.
The bagger, he was kind of odd. And then David's like, oh, what's the name of your family farm? And he's like, 177 Smith Street. And then he's like, oh, well, that's the address.
I was like, that'll work. I'll look it up, man.
Yeah, they sell eggs for $3 a dozen, allegedly. Which I was like, what?
I know. That doesn't.
I was like, that's unheard of. And he doesn't befriend the pigs because he likes to eat the bacon.
Yeah. I can't look at them or else I wouldn't be able to eat them. Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know. Overall, I don't want to shit on it. It was actually a good conversation. It was just odd. I just felt I was like, whoa. And I could not stop thinking about vaccine injury. I was like, this is where that schedule goes. But no, people don't talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that way about lots of the younger generation, and I think that's where for me the whole transgender conversation goes further into the nuance too. Is I think our hormones are under attack, and I think it's a conscious attack on our hormones. And
100%.
honestly, I think it's more of a conscious attack on fertility than it is on our hormones.
Yeah,
but
100%.
That's the effect.
Yes.
And that's why the generations, as we go on, we're getting gayer and gayer and gayer. It's not just the autism rates are going up, the gay rates going up.
Yeah.
And it's weird to think, oh, it's just because we're more open to it now. So there's more out. No. It's not.
They're
that.
definitely messing with
it's
our biology.
Not that. You can see it in the generations.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%.
That to me is where the nuance comes in, and I go, how can I can't stand behind the ideology that covers over the biological.
Yeah, we're being manipulated like crazy. Yeah.
So like, I would love to be able to go into all this nuance and like dive deep with people. But it doesn't really matter. Like for that's the other weird thing is I don't think our people really give a fuck at all about most of these issues. So they just moved on. They see it. They're like, yeah, that's rough. That's tough, but it's not mine to do. It's not mine to speak into. It's not my life's work. There's nothing for me to do about it. It's just a biological reality that sucks right now. It's a reality of how dark this world is. I see it clearly, but it's not mine to do anything about. So it's not really worth it for us to sit and unpack all of this nuance on all of these topics. No. Not really, because the people that would be interested in those conversations aren't our people.
Right. I know.
And even the nuanced perspective would offend them. Like even just what we said the past 20 minutes would offend so many fucking people. Yep. And that's crazy to me. It's honestly crazy to me.
I remember doing a video back in 2020 about abortion. And someone messaged me Hi Danny, who had an abortion, and she loved my video, which was kind of crazy. I didn't expect it. But it was just a more nuanced perspective on it because it was such a hot topic. Yeah. I mean, I guess it still is. Yeah. But that's another one. Yeah. And she just agreed. I can't even remember exactly what my perspective was. Yeah. But just like trusting that if you did get one, like you're still a good person. Like it doesn't, you're not like damned. Like, no. And I imagine you were I imagine you were guided. Oh yeah, I can kind of pull the thread, but that you were guided into it. Like if you wouldn't have got it if you ideally, or at least the people I'm talking to, the intuitive people that follow their intuition, like and aren't malleable and manipulated, like seems like everybody else here is. But like that's who I was speaking to, and she got it. Like, and I was actually thinking of her because I knew her of her past, and I was thinking of her, and I was like, fuck, this is gonna totally offend her. But it didn't. She agreed with it, and she said it helped. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I know there's so much nuance, and that's what's so weird about all these ideologies is they're trying to make a codified good that applies to everyone, and I think that's a weird fucking idea in the first place. Well, that's the whole dark utopia, right? That's exactly where all of this is going, and that's
the new world religion.
And that's why are we like glitchy, or no? I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Who cares?
Maybe our frame rate's a little low or some shit.
And that's probably offensive. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the other thing. Like when I think, oh God, this whole like Lexi Lorenz and the whole vaccine and all of that stuff, and how she's still in the hospital, and I mean that's a nuanced discussion too. And like everyone thinks they know what's best, they know what's right, and like everybody's on their high horse about it. And I'm just like, like this is her shit. This is between her and her family. Like you got RFK Jr.'s in organization, Child Health Defense involved, and it's like, you guys, like you got to know the players that you're playing with. Like this story's being used. Like this, if it wasn't her, it would have been someone else. That like there's a political movement behind this story, and they're using it. And to not see that is like retarded.
And other people talk about it for clout.
Well, right. There's that too. And it's like, I'm in contact with the family and I know everything. And I'm like,
they're just hopping on the bandwagon to gain some followers. It's sad,
and it works.
Honestly.
And it works.
Does.
And it totally works.
It's disgusting, but it does work.
It totally works. And it's weird. It's weird that people are like meddling and nib-nosing where I it just doesn't feel like it's necessary. But then it's like, yeah, but this is getting out there and people are waking up. And I'm like, no, it's not. And this shit is going to get buried so fast. Like, justice will never be served. Like, I know that's not the popular stance and you're supposed to be positive poly pants, but hello, did you read the title of the video? Why we're so offensive, mostly Miriam. Like, this is why. Like, justice won't be served. She's not going to be some figurehead out there speaking about how blibbity blop and she took down the pharmaceutical industry and she took down the insurance companies and she took down the hospital, and like, it's not going to happen. Like, sorry to break it to you, but people, like, they are like obsessed with that future utopia that they've built in their heads of maybe someday this is what will happen because of this incident. But this incident, when you have those puppets in there and she's still in the medical system that poisoned her, like, it's so like mind fucking blowing. Like, if you're still in that, like, you're being controlled. Like, and it's obvious because like she's not moving hospitals because of insurance. And it's like, oh, you're still in the game. Like, you're being played and used. Like, you need to, like, someone needs to have utter outrage on your behalf instead of like, well, the hospital said, or, oh, well, the doctor said, oh, well, the nurse said. Like, someone needs to fucking rage. It's not going to be me, I'll tell you that. But someone needs to rage and say, no, we need to get her the fuck out of here and actually heal. But that's not going to happen. It's like, I'm telling you, it's literally not going to happen. And that's crazy and so sad and so unfortunate. And the reason why it's not going to happen is because everyone around her is acquiescing to the Kennedys, to the thing that is like, what the fuck? How do you not see? You don't see through the thing yet? Like, RFK Jr. is the good guy and so's Trump, and Trump endorses him and he endorses Trump, and like what, you guys? Like, did you learn nothing from 2020? Didn't you know that, like, it wasn't just 2020 that woke people up? It's supposed to continue. You're not supposed to stop in these comfortable ideological pockets so you have friends. Like, no, you're supposed to fucking keep going. And that's the offensive thing. And that's what people don't want to do. And that's why people bury their head in the sand. And that's the shit that pisses me off.
Yeah.
I was like, I have nothing to say.
Well,
my legs are so hairy. Can you tell?
No,
I get nervous.
I can't even tell when I'm here.
What? Look. No, you saw them this morning. He was like,
look, you look great, honey.
You know what I said on Instagram? I was like, well, people are either going to not notice, which is the most likely thing, or they're going to be like, wow, she's so confident. She just can walk around with those hairy ass legs.
That's true. She's brave.
Yeah, I'm brave.
Like Kevin armpit hair.
Yeah, Kevin armpit hair.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Like the French women, you know?
Oh, Kevin. Wait.
Having.
Oh,
it's like
having. I thought you said Kevin's armpit hair or something. Okay. No, Kevin. Okay. Anyway.
Because there's a difference between searching for truth and learning an ideology. There's a big difference. And you can go into all of these pockets and search for truth and come out with a deeper understanding of the world. But if you don't get out, you're going to learn the ideology.
Exactly. That's what's happening.
Mm-hmm. I know.
That's what's happening with this girl. I know, but it so perfectly encapsulates it.
Yes.
Say it again.
Yes. You can learn the truth or you can learn the ideology.
Yeah, and most people would rather learn the ideology.
Yep, because then they immediately get community. They immediately get affirmation. They immediately get confirmation that what they believe is good.
Yep.
That's what you get from an ideology.
Because if you go for truth, it's way fucking darker than anybody wants to be with. And it spins you into existential crisis and you think everything's over and you're going to die. Mm-hmm. And what's the point of living? Mm-hmm. Like, that's where it goes when you feel the depths of shit here.
Yeah.
But people don't want to feel that.
100%. And they think there's no way that it could be this bad.
It's like, oh, bitch, it's worse. It's worse.
And then those spiritual thoughts come in of like, well, I don't want to create that thing that I'm seeing, right? But even if that doesn't come in, it's like, there's no way that it could be this bad and I am the only one that realizes it. Like, you know, there's a piece of that. Mm-hmm. It's just hard. It's hard to get all the way down to the truth and not just click into one of those like, well, you know, it's okay. Look at progress is being made. And now let's rally around our heroes. And
well, with this thing with Lexi, they're like, we should create Lexi's law. Like, there needs to be a thing out. It's like, bitch, she needs to survive. Like, y'all need to fucking actually like take care, like literal care. Yeah. What do you mean Lexi's law? Like, you're years from that. Yeah. She needs to actually live through this. And is she going to?
Yeah.
Because
or die and then Lexi's law, right? It's either way. Either way. They're just thinking strategically.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, how does it become about all of those things? And you miss the whole point.
Yeah.
And people like, it just drives me nuts. I posted something about RFK Jr. yesterday, and it got so many likes in my story. And I was like, what the fuck? Why do I have so many likes? People don't like my shit. And I was like, oh, and I looked, and it was that. I posted, it was some clip of him saying some jargon about pharmaceutical, whatever. I can't stand listening to his voice. I'm like, you guys, they're like training us to like this shit and like listen, and like it's like Elon Musk stutter. It's like, oh, you have to have compassion because he's autistic, but he's really smart. It's like, you guys, we're being like, do you not see it? Like, we're being manipulated to listen to these fucking idiots and like bypass everything in us. It's like when I see morbidly obese people, I am like viscerally disgusted. I feel like that's a good thing. I don't think I need to be, oh, Miriam, you should have more compassion for this morbidly obese person that can't get in and out of their car and can't even walk in the store and they need a motor cart. Like, I like have it's disgust. It is visceral disgust, and I think that is a good thing. I just do. So same thing with these fucking voices. But anyway, so it's just even more offensive. So I posted this RFK story, blibbity blop, and then it got so many likes. And then my point was in the next story, which was like, this is bullshit. And I was in less likes, way less likes. I was like, oh, interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, because we have a hero. We have a hero to 2020. He's our 2020 hero. 2020 never got solved. Nothing has changed at all. So he's our only hope. Help me, RFK Jr. You're my only hope.
I know, and they manufactured it, and people just like hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah,
that shit is mind-boggling to me. What?
I just thought that was a funny Star Wars reference.
Oh, I don't know Star Wars.
Yeah, Princess Leia goes, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope."
Oh,
it's an R2-D2 and little drone, and then just kicks out, and then Luke Skywalker sees it. And then, anyway,
I don't, because I don't know.
Yeah,
sorry.
So that's why I was like, "Help me, RFK."
I mean,
but then I was like, well, maybe I should have said like, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kennedy. You're my only hope." I thought that might be a little funnier. That's why I was smiling. I was thinking about it.
See.
No, I wasn't mad that you didn't get my joke. I was mad that it was a missed opportunity. Could have made it better.
Okay.
Workshopping it.
Exactly. That's awesome. Oh, man, this shit just gets me so fired up because I see so many good people
getting duped.
Yes. And it's driving me crazy.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you guys, come on.
Yeah.
But it's ideologically and like biologically, it's more comfortable because it's uncomfortable to go out on a limb and lose even more people in your life that are also duped. Like, it's uncomfortable to be utterly alone in the way in which you perceive the world. Like, it's uncomfortable to have really strong stances that contradict with every single movement out there.
Yeah.
Hello. I know the discomfort. I live inside of it. But I'd rather live inside of that than be malleable and like, corralled into this utopia that darkness wants to create, which is the homogenized mind. Yummy. Shout out Yummy.
Muddy.
Oh, yummy, muddy, whatever. Which it's true. It's true. It's like, it tracks for me. Because why is this movement creating relief right now? It's creating outrage through this particular girl's story. Like I said, it could have been anybody. This particular girl's story. It's creating outrage, and it's also creating relief. Oh, it's finally being talked about. What does that do? What does that relief do? That relief makes you putty in the palm of Satan's hand. Convince me otherwise. You fucking can't. You can't. But that's exactly what it does.
Yeah, you went from not doing anything and being uncomfortable to not doing anything and being comfortable. I don't know that that's a good step in the right direction. That's all that changed. You went from not doing anything about it and being uncomfortable to still not doing anything about it and being comfortable.
Yes, exactly.
That's not a good thing.
The weight's been lifted.
Thank God someone's finally doing something about my existential crisis.
Yep.
Wow. There's so much progress toward good. Maybe things aren't as bad as I think they are. Maybe this world's actually great and it's going in a wonderful direction. Maybe we're not being controlled. Maybe my ideology is actually great.
Yep.
Maybe
all the guards
I
come
love
down.
everybody. Maybe I love all of the people I disagree with.
Yeah.
Maybe I should be more, I should be more positive. Life's great. And if I were
Exactly.
more positive, then I could make even more money. Then I could live the
It's always
good
about money.
life.
Yeah.
I could live that good life.
Yep. I know. What do you guys think? I have 12 more minutes.
Well, see, we have our regulars on. They don't talk.
That's true.
They don't talk.
They don't talk anymore.
They don't talk anymore like they used to. They don't talk anymore. They don't talk anymore. Even when we sing this song, this was a chance to talk. This was a direct request to talk. Please talk like you used to. Let's get back to Miriam and her Sasquatch legs.
Great. Thanks, Ben. Thanks. You can't really tell.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not bad. It's not like you have like dark leg hair.
No, it's pretty light.
Like if you looked like this, it'd be a little bit more concerning, right? But
yeah.
I mean, I don't even really have dark leg hair.
No, but mine's pretty light from the sun. From all the, and I think I realized that too at the pool. I was like, "Oh, my legs are kind of hairy," but you could hardly tell because it was blondie locked out.
Danny's just making food and hanging out with you guys.
Okay,
that's fine.
All
that's
right.
fine. Yeah, we don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore.
Emily's gotta have an opinion.
Like we used to.
Sasquatch legs. Rude.
Maybe that's why we don't talk anymore. Let's go back. Let's go back to not talking. Let's go back to not. It's because we're already all on the same page.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
I mean, you could just write, "Yep, amen,
Totes.
amen, motherfuckers." Preach. We could get just some constant affirmation. That'd be fine. But no, yeah, you're right. You're right. No, yeah, we don't need it.
The silences. We need to interpret. The silence is not violence here.
That's true. That's true.
It is agreement. I know. I know you guys get it, obviously.
Yeah, it's just nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah, I can't help but offend, I feel like.
Yeah. But
not offend you guys. The people that are
that's the thing, right?
still
That's
here.
the thing. And that's why I wanted to talk about
recording. Yeah.
That's why I wanted to talk
offended.
about it. And that's also my hesitance to talk about it. Because I almost don't want the wrong people to know our secret, that we are offending them on purpose to get them the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? I almost don't want that to be known. But like for the people
wouldn't be
who
able to stand
I
it.
know they wouldn't make it this
They
far
still
fucking
couldn't.
anyway, right? It'd still be like, that's a rude stance to take. How dare you offend me? So I get the fuck out of here. I'm out of here.
I know. They wouldn't. They couldn't.
It's true. That's true.
It's too glitchy. It's like.
Yeah.
It's funny too. Like it's always the people that are, or seems to be mostly the people that are offended are the ones that comment. What? I kicked the camera.
Yeah. Well, you have been kicking it consistently every
that's
maybe
great.
3 or 4 minutes.
But the commenters seem to be the offended ones.
Yeah.
I know, it's kind of lame. It's funny when I'm like offended. I don't know that I'm really usually offended by people online. I'm more just like, ugh, what? Like this is off.
Yeah, I have moments where I'm like, ugh, you're a terrible person. But I don't know that I have like, or like you don't have that sense of right and wrong. That's fucking weird, you know? Like, but it's not ideological differences. It's just when they make weird decisions that aren't true or right, or when they like don't feel into things, or they don't like know things that they should know, or there are things that bother me about people.
Yeah, when I'm watching content, I don't feel like I'm getting offended by.
No, I'm fascinated by people's ideologies.
Yeah.
I really am.
I was listening to a podcast not too long ago, and they were talking about like the importance of, or how homeschooling is good and how you don't want to listen to just like any single authority and like, you know, getting kids to think and like this whole thing. And then literally like in that segment, he plays an ad for like crypto and how you can follow this guy. He's like a big brother and he knows all about crypto and you just invest what he tells you to invest in. So I wrote a comment. I was like, oh, the irony of talking about not listening to an authority and then immediately playing an ad for this authority crypto guy.
Yeah. And then someone commented back on your comment and was like, no, but he's good.
He's really good. I know. I was like, you just proved my point. Like, this is so stupid. I was like, love the pod and the irony of this conversation. I like literally laughed out loud. I was like, I went back and listened because I was like, did that just happen? They're talking about not trusting a single authority and how like who wrote the books and
yeah. I don't particularly trust any movement or any ideology because none of us, like good people that are all trying our best, none of us came up with any of this shit.
I know.
We regurgitate things because we think they are good and we want to be good. And that's a bad reason
I know
to have a stance. It's a very bad reason to have a stance. And then once we see through something and we reject it and we start speaking out about it, then we go to the opposite ideology and we do the same thing.
Yeah, I tried
People just jump from ideology to ideology, identity to identity. So hopefully those of you who aren't immediately offended here, we can like rip into all of these ideologies and create some degree of freedom where you're actually thinking for yourself, no matter how uncomfortable that is. And not just thinking for yourself, but checking in and finding what God wants you to think about these things. The guidance that you're getting.
Exactly.
And it's not always going to be the same as our stances either. Because we all have slightly different roles to play. We all have slightly different like positions in society and in like geographically. And I think there are some people who are going to think very different things about the transgender movement and race and politics and religion and all of these hot button topics and even God. Like I think often, Ben, about how we talk about God very differently.
Yes, you.
Yeah.
Me?
I think often about how we talk about God very differently, and your perspective, like in that video you did on God, on I don't know if it's on this channel, the video you did on God, you speak about God very differently. Like I think we agree on most things and the experience of it, but our ideologies are slightly different on God. And you do take more of like I'm basically an atheist and I hate fucking everything, but like there's this feeling inside that I really trust, and I gotta like double down on that. And I think we take more of like we want to follow God over everything. You know, it's slightly different. It's just different words to say the same thing. But I think it's right. And I think for the people that you are speaking to and will speak to, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
Well, we believe in God and Ben doesn't, but he still follows God even though he doesn't believe in God.
It's like we could find ideological differences like that, but
it's the same thing.
But I feel like you're being guided by God to not believe in God, and for that to be your stance and your ideology, especially publicly. Like it's cool, and I appreciate it. Seeing our ideological differences and the different ways that we make sense of things, but still at the end of the day, there's this through line of truth, and we're being guided by that same force. We're being guided by light, and we're thinking for ourselves in collaboration with God.
We call it God. Ben calls it Ben Weston.
Yes. Yeah, he calls it Big Ben.
Big Ben.
There's little Ben and there's Big Ben and then there's little Ben.
Rude.
Then there's enormous Ben. Sorry.
Oh gosh.
There's little Ben, Big Ben, and enormous Ben. Guess which is which? That's funny. That's funny. Workshopping. All right.
We gotta go.
We do gotta go. I gotta make dinner. Miriam's got some. Miriam's got an HOA meeting, and yeah, so much I want to type in response, but can't.
I know.
Yeah. We don't talk anymore.
You could have typed it earlier.
That's true. You could have psychically peered into what our conversation was going to be and typed ahead in advance.
Yep.
But that's okay.
I wonder now.
What
he wants to say. Do we let
I
him?
don't know. Yeah, do we sit?
Do we wait? I feel like he's saying, "Oh, fuck you guys." This is what you get for making fun of my hairy legs.
All right, everyone. Well, thanks for tuning in. We're just waiting on Ben. All of us watching this are currently waiting on Ben Weston. Check him out on YouTube. Yeah, I dig the differences, but it also being kind of the same.
Oh.
Yeah. Me too.
Mm-hmm.
That is the thing I
thought
just
it was
said.
going to be a little more crude.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was going to be a little more...
I know. Funnier.
Like... yeah. Actually, that is what I thought. I was waiting for
bite me.
A belligerent. Yeah, there we go.
There we go. 70% there.
Yeah.
You workshop some stuff and we'll come back the next time and just
test it in the chat. It's awesome.
Good shit. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
I'll see you next time.
Yeah. I really like this camera setup, by the way. I just want to end with that. There's some color in our face. This is what we really look like. We're actually this vibrant. We only looked like...
I don't know.
We only looked so pale because for other camera.
Oh,
but now, see, this is how colorful and bright and shining we are.
Our monitor's also pretty dull. So this must be ultra bright for someone else on a regular screen. Because our monitor's kind of dull.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Huh. Well.
All right. Gotta
Thanks for tuning in.
I gotta pee. Okay.
I was trying to think of something offensive, but I can't. Okay, bye.
Me either. Bye. We're done being offensive now. That was the last of it.
Uh-huh.
See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.